The truth about starting words for Wordle is that they do make a big difference. Some of the worst starting words used by some folks are actually terrible. And those worst Wordle starting words are used more frequently than you might imagine. In this short session, we'll identify 10 really poor Wordle starting words and explain why, from a Wordle strategy standpoint, these Wordle starting words are not a good choice. Stick around, though, until the end when we explain the one time when you might actually want to start with some of what appears to be awful choices. Hi guys, I'm Mary Schaefer here with another short Wordle video focusing on first Wordle words, and most specifically the words that you shouldn't use that don't optimize your chance of solving that Wordle puzzle in as few rounds as possible. So let's get started. Let's look at the first word, queen, Q-U-E-E-N. The problem with queen is there are several things with it. Number one, it has a double E in it, which means for your first pick, you're only getting 4 letters. You're not getting a look at 5 letters. So you're already minimizing your chances. It's good that you have the E in there. That's a positive. The other less than optimal choice, if you will, is the QU. As you know, Q is very rarely in words, and we recommend that you only pick a Q word once you know that you've got a U in there, okay? And in the first round, that's not going to be. So really not a good choice. Okay, the second word that I've picked out, the second starting word, it's a fun word, dance, D-A-N-C-E, and you might be looking at it and saying, what's wrong with it? It's got an A and an E in there. That's true. A and E are the most common vowels, E first, then A, but it doesn't do much of a job on the consonants. S, T, and R are your most frequent consonants, so by focusing on D, N, and C, which are less popular, you're not optimizing your opportunity. All right, let's move on to the next one. Fence, F-E-N-C-E. Again, the E is good, but you have it in there twice, so you're not optimizing your chance of getting as many letters as possible. F, N, and C, none of them are your most common consonants. N is a little bit okay. The F and the C, not so often, so really not a good choice. Okay, trick, T-R-I-C-K, that's our next choice. And again, here, you don't have an A, you don't have an E, so you're not optimizing on the vowel front. The T and the R are good. To be fair, the T and the R are good. They are the most, among the most common consonants used. The K really rarely used. So you're, again, not optimizing your chance. Okay, the next one, let's look at something that many of us are not, especially me, and that's quiet. And if you're looking at this on YouTube, if you're not just listening to it, if you're actually looking at it, you can see I have 2 words written here. I have quiet and I have quite. And the reason I have them both down is that they use the same letters. They just have them in a different order. Okay. The only good thing here are the E and the T. E is the most common vowel, and T is a pretty common consonant, so that's good. I've already talked about the Q. You don't want to guess Q until you know that you have a U, which you're probably not going to pick up till the second or third round. So really, either one of these, however, whichever one you're going to use, not a great choice to start with. Okay, and now let's look at juice, J-U-I-C-E, something a lot of us like to drink. The only good thing about juice from a Wordle standpoint, if you will, is the E, which is the most common vowel. The other letters, not so frequently used, and you're not going to optimize your chances of winning. Now, before we get to the last few, and I know some of you will use the last one, especially. If you like this episode, please give us a thumbs up. And if you loved it, please subscribe. We produce new content for the channel 3 times a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are devoted to payment and accounts payable issues, and Saturdays are reserved for Wordle. And by the way, your thumbs up and your comments really help us, as the YouTube algorithm takes it as a positive sign and then shows more our content to more people. So we really appreciate, again, the thumbs up and the comments. All right, back to our worst words. How about zebra? While you might love the animal, zebra is not a really good choice for your first word in Wordle. The E and the A are good. The R is good, but the Z, very few words with a Z in it. And likewise, B is not exactly a popular letter when it comes to Wordle. Okay, next one, Xerox. This has several problems with it. The E and the R are the good news about Xerox. The bad news is X is in hardly any words, and not only is X not in that many words, you've now got the X in there twice. Okay, so you're kind of giving up two chances to start to solve the problem. So Xerox, really not a good choice. Now, the last one, which is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm really excited about the last one. Okay, no comments on my life. But anyway, Jacks, okay? If you have a child named Jack or grandchild, you might be tempted to use this one. The good news about Jacks is it does have an A in it. It has an S in it. Unfortunately, the S is in this word the last position. And there are no plurals in Wordle solutions. And the J, the C, and the K, really not good choices because they don't appear in that many words. So as a starting word, Jacks just doesn't make the cut. Now, I know a number of people like to use the word money. Okay, we all like it, or most of us do. I know I do. But the only good thing about money is that E, okay? All the others are less than optimal choices if you're trying to solve the Wordle solution in as many in as few rounds as possible. And along with money, I want to talk about the use of the word penny. Now, you might be saying, well, I wouldn't put penny in there, but some people will put penny, or if they have a child or a grandchild whose first name is also a word like penny, they'll put it in. But frequently, it doesn't work because, again, less than optimal. And with penny, you have the double N. The only good news from a Wordle standpoint about penny is that E. All right. So the $1,000,000 question. We've said these are worst Wordle words. When might you want to use one of them? And if you're thinking never, I'm going to tell you that that's not exactly 100% true. There's one occasion when you might. If you're trying to challenge yourself, but you're not quite ready to play at that hard level, then you might want to make this as an in-between step. Now, did you do this? So you might start with a less than optimal word so that you can up your challenges, up your game level. If you do this, I'd love to know, and you can let us know in the comments below, in the comment section below. Now, you might be wondering, what are some good starting words? We recently revisited that issue and have some updated insights. You can watch it right now using the links that will appear momentarily on YouTube and are in the show notes below. As always, we greatly appreciate your thumbs up, your shares, your subscribes, and your comments. Happy Wordling.